sky. Eastern suburbs. We took flight. Come on. Born in Bondi, southern skies ignite. From the east, our spirits rise. Red, white, blue, our story told. From nothing we rose, made our claim. Eastern pride, we built our name. Stronger now, we never fall. Rooster spirit standing tall. Yeah, come on, feel that pride. Let's go. Since the start, the legacy lives. Passion, power, the heartbeat gives. Red and blue, we walk with pride. Fears by side, can't hide our vibe. Flags up high, crowd in sync. Roosters rule, we never blink. Eastern suburbs. Eastern suburbs. Red, white, and blue, we're flying high. Sydney Roosters reach the sky. Eastern suburbs. Roosters! Get up! Feel that pride! Grand on fire, glory set. Fighting with fire, no regrets. Yeah! Every tackle, every try, hit hard.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Sydney Roosters Diehards. Welcome to Chooks Chat, and welcome to another segment of Chooks Agenda, where we'll be going through your latest Roosters questions and opinions. If you guys want to be involved in these, this is probably not a weekly thing. This is every week or a couple of fortnight or month or so, whatever. We'll be asking your questions to be sent in for this episode. And just any questions about the Roosters you may feel free on DM us on Instagram or the Assumptions story that we put up, or even on here in the live chat. Just send them through, and this is the time and the place to go through them all and have your say and any questions that you may feel. But so hope everyone is doing well. Obviously, it is technically a bye week because obviously the season has already started. The season's starting this weekend in Vegas, and obviously the Roosters are in action next weekend. But so obviously not going to be a lot of content on here this week, but we'll do our best to try and get as much as we can at the moment. But yeah, really hope you guys are doing well. Someone just messaged me where to get the backpack from. That was from my story on Sunday. If you're watching, I got that from the Roosters marketplace. Oh dear. Oh dear, how the hell? Anyway, I'm getting a little bit sidetracked there. But yeah, so any questions and that feel free to ask over the next half an hour or so, I reckon. We'll go through the latest Roosters news from the week that was. Not a lot to cover, but obviously the latest big talking points. Obviously, last week we spoke about in that length about Reece Robson's injury and all that. And hope you guys enjoy. Before we begin, guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the Sydney Roosters Diehards. Give us a follow on the Instagram as well. Like I said, if you want to be a part of these, just give us a DM or question on Instagram. Right, we've got Jake in here. How are you, my fro? How are you, my bro? Great to have you in here as usual, mate. Play safe stands. Hi there. Any info on where the Roosters will be sitting in Auckland and any tickets? Michael and Son 15-year gold members. I'm not too sure. Like I sat behind the playing bench last year. I spoke to Wayne, Giggity guy. We all know Wayne. We all love Wayne. I think I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. I think my mate Adam asked me. Obviously, I'm not going to Auckland next week, but I think they were behind the post last year. or the Rooster supporters and that. So I think that's where they might. I think Bay 13, I believe. So, but yeah, I think that's. Yeah, I think that's so. Anyway, g'day, Jason. How are you, my friend? Are you going next week? 'Cause I know you're obviously from New Zealand, so maybe you might be going next week. I'm not 100% sure yet. Right. Let's go through the questions. We've got a couple in here. Thank you, everyone, for being involved. We'll do these obviously in the next throughout the time over the next whatever. We'll start off with the first one of the night from Kobe Webb. Do you agree with the decision to start Benaya over Connor while Robson is injured? I think that's the best way forward. I obviously, we saw a little bit of a pattern last year with the combination of Benaya when he came through the ranks and Connor Watson as well. So obviously both of them rotated in the 9 jersey. I think it was good to see Benaya start last year, start the game really, really well, and then Connor Watson come on in around the 25th minute mark with the, and inject that speed into the ruck. And I think Connor, can do that obviously with Reece Robson there anyway. But yeah, I do think it's more realistic to see Benaya play there. I think Benaya's got a very, very similar role to Reece Robson. I think, like I said last week when Reece Robson was ruled out for the next 6 to 8 weeks, I generally think that it was more, I think it was more realistic to see Benaya has a very similar playing style to Reece Robson. So you put Benaya in there and, just let him go and let him do his thing. So, I think it was, I think it's probably more realistic to see though. And I think it's good to see Benaya. Obviously, Benaya had a good game last weekend. Over the first 2 trial games, to be fair, he had a really, really good, really good trial games. Obviously, Watto had a great All-Stars at 9 and played off the bench, played 14, played a bit of 9, played a bit of lock. On the weekend, played well as well. So they look sharp together. And I think more realistically, I think we'll see Benaya starting at 9. Watto, I still think Watto is going to be the 13 for me. Obviously, we'll find out next week when the team list gets named. Obviously, we'll have our team list predictor video out for you guys next Tuesday morning for you guys as we get into the lead up to team list Tuesday when the squad gets officially announced on 4 p.m. on Tuesday. But I do think, I'd say Benaya 9 makes more sense. Watto at 13. And then, I still have my Hugo as my 14. And then you can have like a little bit of a triangle combination. The triangle. That's not a triangle, but oh my god, that's not. You get my point. The triangle combination with Benaya, Watto, Hugo, and they just sort of rotate between them 3 throughout the game. Jake the League fan says, I noticed that during the trial game, DC seemed more like a passenger when I was seeing it right. Will that continue? I don't think he was a passenger. I think he was taking a step back, and I think that's what his role is required to do this year. And we've said that throughout the preseason, and that the way for this combination to work is for Sam Walker to be really, really ball dominant, and DC floats and works around Sam Walker. DC doesn't have to get his hands on the ball as often as Sam Walker needs to. I think that the balance between them two was perfect and spot on, and is what I wanted to see. And I think a lot of Roosters fans wanted to see that on the weekend, which we did, and I'm pretty happy from what I saw. So, yeah, look, it's obviously, DCE isn't going to be, the main guy. It's Sam Walker's team. DC will come in and do what his role is required. And so I think it gives us more reassurance as well that, having a guy like DCE helps Sam Walker development and, and his match experience. Whenever he needs to get his hands on the pill, he'll make the right decision. So obviously, as a game managing half like DCE, I think it's obviously, it was a short sample size, yeah. Like it was 40 minutes of it. It's going to be very interesting when we get to stages of the season, like in the early stages of the season where, it's a tight game, the game's on the line, is DCE going to be still able to, pull back and, trust Sam Walker to get the job done, or is DC going to get in the way? That's some of the questions that need to be answered when in tight situations like we've seen in the past last year where we're in really, really tight games and we weren't able to ice those games off. I do think having DC there will help that for sure, but it'll be very, very interesting what the playing style, what the combination would look like in the into the championship rounds of a match in the 80th, or not the 80th, but then come the 70th minute, the last 10 minutes of the game, we need points to win the game, or we need to defend the lead. Like, that's where that combination is going to be tested. So, but I do think that DCE, he had a good game on the weekend. He only played 40 minutes, but I do think in that 40 minutes, you know, what we wanted to see from DCE and what we wanted to see from them 2.5 look really, really good, in my opinion. Lummy says, how do you rate Semi and DC's first hit out together? Like we just mentioned that. But yeah, they were great. They were great. Sam Walker obviously was fantastic, you know, and obviously getting a lot of praises, and so he should, because he was very, very sharp, Sam Walker, over the weekend. And he'll continue to build, obviously. Obviously, it was their first game together. It was first game of the season for the boys. And they will continue to build and build and build. Obviously, we all know we're a slow team to start with. Our combinations aren't going to be in red or hot form in come round one, but we all know that Robbo loves to be, you know, Robbo loves building a season, you know. And I think I've said this before. Like, I remember the time I was very grateful to have. I've actually had Robbo on my YouTube channel. I did like a little bit of a training vlog up in Brisbane a couple of years ago where I interviewed some of the players and all that. I interviewed Robbo and I asked him about, you know, the year so far. I think it was like round 4, round 5. We're early into the season. I was asking how's the season going so far and all that kind of stuff. And he said it was like building a season. You know, you don't want to, you know, you don't want to peak too early. You want to peak at the right time. You know, it's just getting that balance right. And once he told me that, it completely makes sense to me. Like, you don't want to be, obviously you don't want to be falling behind like we have done. We still want to be, you know, in and around that mix there. And then after the origin period, you know, it's managing and building a season. You know, we get to an origin series where we're going to have a lot of players, you know, featured. You know, like if you go off last year, you've got Toya, Gussie, Spencer, Lindsay, Spencer, Connor Watson, those guys. They're going to be in and around the mix. Obviously, you've got to consider this year Marky Mark, Tedesco might be in and around the mix as well. So obviously, you've got to manage that perfectly. And then once they come out of the origin period, and then it's full gun blazing and making sure that we time our run perfectly. And then once the whips are cracking. The whips are in round, you know, from whatever round it is towards the finals. You know, once we get to that stage, you know, it is what the hell's going on outside? It'd be it's you know, paramount that, you know, we are, you know, in good form with you know, what the domestic abuse outside, I'm guessing. I don't know. I just hear yelling. I'm on acreage, man. Sorry about this, guys. I'm on acreage, and I can still hear people from 2 houses up, far out. But yeah, so, you know, it's a lot of things that need to go your way to win the competition. You know, obviously you got to stay injury free for majority of your squad. You know, obviously come finals time, we're going to be carrying injuries and all that. You know, the fittest team and the best defensive team wins the comp, and I'm sure Robbo will be definitely knowing that. You know, he knows what he wants to see his side be in round 27 then compared to where we are now. So, but yeah, like Semi and DCE, they were great, and they'll continue to build throughout the year for sure. Jetty says when Radley's back. Well, Radley is round 7, so obviously 10-game club ban for Victor Radley, obviously for the text messages from last year. So obviously he served 3 already, because obviously he was going to be picked for England for the Ashes game. So that the Roosters have counted that as a 3-game ban, count that towards their suspension. So that's 3 games wiped off. And obviously the 2 preseason games have wiped off as well. So he's already halfway through the suspension. So he's got another 5 games to be served, with the Roosters obviously having a bye in round 5. So the 5th game will be round 6. So round 7, he'll be returning, which I believe. I think it's the same time Robertson's back too. That's what it says on the casualty wall too. So who did we got in round 7? Let me have a look. Who are we playing round 7? Newcastle at Allianz on Sunday afternoon. That's when Victor Radley's back. So not about. He's got 5 more games. And then the 6th game is available to clear. Obviously, the bye in the early stage of the season obviously delays that another week. But yeah, round 7 for Victor. So obviously, it'd be good to see him back in the side, and that's another headache for Robbo to have out where we fit Radley into this team because we've got some really, really good players out there, and their forward depth is stacked to the bone. Isaac says, who's the biggest dark horse outside the Chookies for the top 8? Probably the two teams that we played over the preseason, probably the West Tigers and Parramatta. They've looked really, really good. Like, obviously, the West Tigers, they replicated their win against us with a very solid performance against the Panthers at Leichhardt Oval on Friday night. Like, Macassini, man, like, he's a gun. Like, and I think he'll be really, really, he's considered, like, obviously a lot can happen between now and round 27. I generally think that he's got the Rookie of the Year locked in already. Like, and there's still 27 weeks of footy to be played, but I think he's got that locked down, and I think he'll be really, really definitely be in the background of the New South Wales squad. I don't think that's not a bad shout, to be fair. Like, he is just so powerful. He's a big boy too. He's like 18 years of age. Like, I remember being at I was at Leichhardt on Friday night with Matty G, Shaq TV, and that all Tigers fans, right? They were there, like, and I was just like, with them walking, outside the ground. I think Macassini was with his family and that. And I'm just like looking at him. I'm like, this guy is 18 years of age and he's a monster. Like it literally reminding me like, Suoliti at that age, Israel Folau at that age. Like, it's got so many similarities. Stephen Crichton at that age. Like, it is scary how young he is and how good he is. And obviously, the cliche saying, if you're good enough, you're old enough. So, but yeah, I think obviously the Tigers have, really, really looked good so far in the preseason. Obviously, it's preseason, but like, they're heading in the right direction. Parramatta, they were very, very solid against Cronulla. And obviously, they weren't at their at their clinical best against us on the weekend, but, their youngsters stepped up and got the job done against ours. So, obviously, there's a lot of promise with Parramatta as well. So, obviously, in saying that, though, all the Iongi situation that came across the news over the last day or so, that might be a bit of a distraction. But, yeah, I do think that the Tigers and Parramatta, they'll be definitely a top 8 smoky for me. I can't rule out South, though, like, as much as I hate to admit that. But, like, South Sydney, they look good in the trial games too. You got to, credit whereas I don't like, you know me. I do not want to give these bastards any credit whatsoever. But, like, they played well over the first 2 weeks. So, they've got to be, obviously if they stay fit. Obviously, Brendan Smith news just come out that Cheese is injured. So, but at the same time, like, if they get their left edge firing, like, they can be a top 8, top 4 team for sure. Blake Moses says, hey, Hainsey, will Tommy Talau be on the left wing? He scored a good try against Parramatta. Well, I don't know. Like, obviously, Tupou will be there next week. Toop is obviously, he was just rested. There's no injury concerns from Toops. He was just simply rested. Like I said last week, like, Toops is like, he doesn't need to be playing these trial games. Like, he's got, there is nothing to gain. There's nothing that, Trent Robinson needed to see from Daniel Tupou. We know what Daniel Tupou's standards are. We know what he can do. There's no point, in a trial game where, especially the late stage, at an older age of 34, like, we obviously, you got to manage his body right and make sure that he's firing for round 1, and having, that's why Rob Toy didn't play. Hamstring tightness. What's the risk, of going out there just for the sake of getting minutes under his belt for a trial game for 40 minutes, and he does more damage and he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. Like, Reece Robson is different because of the training injury, but, like, having Toy out for 6 to 8 weeks would be a problem for sure. So obviously taking that approach, but Toops is fine. He'll be there. He'll be named on Tuesday and he'll be playing in round 1. But yeah, like Tommy Talau, I think he'd probably be back up. Well, I'd probably say Junior Tupou would be most likely the more realistic option on the left edge, on left wing, if Tupou is injured or not available. I'd probably say either Junior Polgar or Tommy Talau for that right side. Tom Rodwell on the right wing, and then probably say, Junior Tupou, Cody Ramsey on the left side. Is there any hi Hainsey, Marky Michael and Sharp in training? Oh, it's good to hear. Oh, yeah, like, obviously, like, Marky Mark didn't have the greatest game on the weekend, but, like, it's a trial game. Like, it doesn't bother me whatsoever. And I was really excited to see him have a run at fullback. just, I don't want to be that guy, but like maybe is there a little bit of a second year syndrome that might happen with Marky Mark? Like, I don't think so. I don't think Marky Mark isn't, that sort of guy or that player, but like, he had a really, he strung up, had a heroic rise last year, scoring 20 odd tries. The season top try scorer, RLPA Rookie of the Year. Should have been the Rookie of the Year, but obviously they didn't want to give it to him. So they gave it to Toy. It's all goods. But like, could you? And obviously he made his debut for the Kangaroos, and I'll be honest, like he was okay, but he wasn't at his best. Obviously, compared to first grade to the international stage is a big standard, big standard rise, but. Same time though, like I felt like he could have been a little bit better, but I'm sure that Marky Mark would definitely. I don't know. Maybe I'm not just reading into that. It was one bad trial game, but even though I wouldn't say it was bad. I don't think it was great, but like I still think it was pretty solid, Marky Mark. But yeah, I think it'd be sweet. I think it'd be sweet to be honest with you. Is there any updates on the heritage jerseys this year? I don't know, like. Retro showed me 2 weeks ago that there was, I don't have it on me, right? But Retro did show me a leaked submission, So if you guys call back to the time where the away jersey was starting to make the rounds around the Roosters pages and that, and we put it up there as that concept design. It wasn't a concept; it was like the official drawings that was sent. We got our hands on one, and we posted it, obviously. I saw that, so what I'm trying to say on the post there, right? So Retro showed me one of them of the 95 away that was drawn up, and probably like when you send it to like sports stores and all that, you submit them and say this is what the design. It was like a design of it. So I saw a design of the 95 away, and I don't have it on me obviously, but like we saw. And then we're hearing that that might be next year, but like I simply don't have a clue. I was hearing reports that the 95 away was going to be our heritage, our away. With obviously looks like that might be a heritage piece, but then hearing might be next year. This is what happens when you're trying to get leaks of people. Like you just don't have any confirmation. It's just rumors and leaks, and I have to report on it because that's sort of I'm in the content business. So, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure on you guys there, but I'd probably say 2027 and 2028 will have the training jerseys that we have now, the navy blue, and the training jerseys, the navy blue and the red heritage ones. They will probably be heritage jerseys next year because 2027 and 2028 in that 2-year cycle will be, obviously 120 year anniversary of the Roosters. So I'm sure they'll do something like that next year for sure. Hey, Matty, how are you, my friend? Jake says, does he and Gus have 1 foot out the door? Do they just want to get to the union? I don't think so. Like, I can guarantee you for the fact that Gussie isn't like that. Gussie is 100. I'm sure Marky Mark is too. Like, Marky Mark has a lot of integrity about him. So does Gussie. These two will be definitely putting all in and leaving the place just as good as where they found it. Gussie has been at this club for a long, long time, and I'm sure the decision for him to leave to go to rugby was a tough decision to make. But I'm sure that Gussie will be putting in 110% every week. Like trial games. You expect dust the cobwebs off, Like, you would rather see these performances in trial games, honestly. But, they're fully committed for this year. I can guarantee you that, I'm sure Marky Mark is too. And I remember 2024, like, I know Jared Reeder-Hargreaves, Luke Keary, Marky Mark, not Marky, no, Suoliti and Manu. I know that they were committed for that year. It was their final year. They want to leave this place better than the way they found it. They want to walk out of here with a premiership. You can tell, and there's motivation to do that. So I don't think for a second that they're focusing on next year. It's good for them, though, that they've secured their future. They know where they're going next year, but for the time being, they're committed. They're locked in. I have no doubt about that. So I wouldn't be worrying about that, to be fair. Honestly, the Heritage jersey should have been the Heritage jersey. Yeah, I think so. I want to see those Heritage jerseys come out more often, honestly. Like, and like I speak about it all the time. Like, when the Bulldogs do Heritage jerseys every year, they bring out 2 a year. And I'm just walking out, I'm just like, these are so good. But I'm just like, I know ours are better. I know our Heritage jerseys are so sick that, they sell like hotcakes if we bring them out. Dead set. What do you think of rookie Rex Bassingthwaighte, mate? Like, he was good in that trial game. Obviously, he was rested last week. He copped a little bit of a knock in that trial game against the Tigers, and obviously they didn't want to play him. So I actually spoke to him, met him for the first time last week in Gosford. He was a really, really great fella. He's like, Hainsey, how are you, mate? I was like, hey, Rex. He's my mate now. But no, he played really, really well. And obviously he's next up from Tedesco. So, and when Tedesco hangs up his historic career, knowing that we've got this guy in the wilderness ready to go, and he'd be, from what we saw in a short sample size of 40 minutes in the trial game, first grade trial game, he was really, really great. And I'm really excited for what's to come for Rex Bassingthwaighte. But do we see him this year? I don't think so. I think, keep an eye on the lower grades. I think Cup, Flag, that's where he'll be doing his business, and he'll be tearing it up for sure. Hey, Hainsey, you're going to the round 6 Perth doubleheader. I can't make it, unfortunately. I'm trying to save a bit of money this year so I can go. So I'm not going to every game this year, like I tried to do last year. Just for the fact that I'm saving to move it, get to buy a house, or get a place in Sydney next year, so it'll be more easy for me to get the games next year. But obviously, and I'm actually playing footy up here this year, so there's a lot of Saturdays that clash. Obviously, I think we've got some trial games for us coming up, so which clash with the Roosters and that. So I do. So I think I'm just doing the 12 home games. So 10 home games at Allianz, the Gosford game, Magic Round, 2 away games up here in Queensland, so that's 14. I think there is maybe Melbourne. I might do that one. The South game around 27. I think maybe another one. So I'm not going to every game this year. I'm still going to more than half. So but which also means that I'll be on here doing more content on the Diehards as my personal channels on game day. So watch alongs, reactions, play rating videos. So it'll be more of that this year than usual. I think as a club, we actively try not to promote the Eastern Suburbs heritage because if they wanted, they would. Like, it's weird though. Like, obviously, like they say there's East everywhere. Like this. I'm just, the old heritage logo here, the East there. In the past they've had East everywhere. Like, they do promote it, but like I think it was mainly the manufacturers. Honestly, there was a lot of stuff ups with Gasol. Like Gasol, I remember when they first came in 2021, there was problems in 21 and 22 with the jerseys and getting them out on time and having delays with the jerseys and all that kind of stuff. So I generally think it was mainly Gasol that was the major problem, not the Roosters. So obviously now we've added us. We've seen a little bit of a glimpse of what it is so far and what's to come. So I think that the Roosters are proud of their history and their club. The Roosters are proud of our area, and obviously, they whenever they can, they obviously advertise Eastern Suburbs, the city part of the club. So I don't think it's they definitely promote the Eastern Suburbs heritage for sure. That's just me anyway. Got a couple more questions here. Mitch Barnett leaving the Warriors. Does that open up a chance to the Roosters? Mitch Barnett, would we sign Mitch Barnett? Probably not, to be honest with you. We mentioned just before, like how obviously yes, Angus Crichton's going next year, but we still got extremely good forward depth at the moment. Like, our starting front row is Lindsay, Nafahu White, Spencer, off the bench, Blake Steeps, Leslie Fichetti, Egan Butcher, Nat Butcher can play middle. Then you got Taylor Lasalu, De La Salvata, like, and, Seve as well, who plays in this World Cup. He's coming through as well. We've got so many options in the forward department. I just don't think we need it. We don't need a Mitch Barnett as of right now. So I think we most likely will land back in Newcastle. So, but like generally, it'd be great to have him. He's a great player. Like maybe but like even if we do, I'm not suggesting anything right now. Like is it hints that we're going to move on Lindsay Collins in the next couple of years. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if there well that might that happen. If we do that, we've got we've still got Blake Steep, Celestia Viketti, Egan Butcher, Nat Butcher, De La Salvata, Spencer, Taylor Lasalu. Like we've got like 6-7 front rowers in our top 30. We don't need another one, Mitch Barnett. I know Mitch Barnett can play anywhere, but like in lock as well. But like generally, nah. In my opinion, he's a good player. We'd love to have him, but we just don't need him. Wish we learnt more in the being the East. Like I lived in Bondi Junction my whole life. I feel we do hide and expect the Bondi hide it a bit, except Bondi Beachy image. It's hard though. Like you're right. Like obviously we see, obviously the Rooster stuff everywhere in Bondi and all that kind of stuff. It's very, very hard though. Like obviously it's where we are compared to other areas. Like obviously we're in a small area too. Like I'm sure, like obviously you love to see, our side of Anzac Parade covered in red, white, and blue, like South Sydney do in their area. But like, I know we do see Ramwick have their, Roosters flags up. Sean Paddington as well. Like it just depends on where you are, kind of thing. But I would love to see Roosters, colours just everywhere in the eastern suburbs. It'd be great. Jake says, calling it now, White wins prop of the year. I reckon he's alongside Payne Haas for sure. Definitely for me. Like, and I said that last year, like I've said that for a while. That last year, throughout the preseason, and as well during the Pacific Championships on how well Nafahu White was. I still think that, like I said, I think Nafahu White will become the best front row in the game. Like alongside Payne Haas, I gently believe that. Like he's got, and that the way how he played last year just sets him up for the next couple of years or so. He's still got to hit his prime too, so we've still got plenty of years in the Nafahu White, and just seeing him on that trajectory is going to be fantastic to see. It's hard because Union still dominates the Eastern and private schools. Yeah, like, and that's sort of been our problem at the moment. With all our Roosters players going to rugby, like obviously Angus Crichton is a Scots boy. Marky Mark's come from a rugby background, so he's come from a Marky background, Manu background, Max Jorgensen, who we've tried to get him into the club. He's remained in rugby. He's obviously a rugby heritage as well. Zach Fittler, Scots boy. There's still other Scott boys, beasties, like, the Max McCarthys and the Billy Smiths and that Siwa Wong, like Hugo Savala, like they're definitely in, that's, but it's hard when you're competing with another code. It's not as easy. It'd be good to see South with Payne Haas against the Roosters next year. Will make the rivalry more intense. Yeah, for sure. Like, and I think next year it's going to be great. Like, like as much as we hate South and love seeing their despise, the last couple of years where they've been nowhere near the finals race has been fantastic to watch. But like 2018, 2013, 2014, 2018, 2019, the 4 best years of watching Roosters South games. Obviously, the 2012 was probably the best year because of what happened. But like that was between two bottom. I know South were the top 4 team in 2012, but you know what I mean. But 2013, round 26, wins a minor premiership, right? South Sydney just had to beat Manly in 2013, and it would have been a Roosters South prelim, grand final, which would have been off its head. Obviously, 2014, Roosters won the comp in 13, South Roosters prelim in 14, South won the comp in 14. That was the peak of the rivalry. Then obviously 2018, the last game at the old SFS, when both teams are fighting for a premiership, like that makes the rivalry more and more intense. Like I've said in the past, like I wouldn't know what to do if Roosters are playing South in a grand final. Like, I generally just could not, emotionally, like, I couldn't do it emotionally. Like, knowing what was at stake, losing a grand final to your arch rivals, like, there is simply no words to describe it. Obviously, this hasn't happened in nearly 100 years, right? But, like, just having the thought in my head of losing a grand final to them, and I'm sure South City would feel the same way. Like, I guess final losses hurt, bro. Like, 2022, that was tough to take. I'm sure South in 23, when we knocked them out of the finals, week out from finals, that would have hurt them too. But, like, there's no way to describe getting eliminated from your arch rivals, but that makes it even worse. Grand final. But in saying that, as a neutral, but, like, if you're a neutral, and for the love of rugby league, like, that grand final week would be insane. The build-up for a grand final between the Roosters and the Rabbitohs would be off the charts. It'll be sold out in the first hour. It'll be just, I wouldn't sleep for a week. You're right, mate. I would not sleep for a week. Like, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't emotionally do it because I'm so invested in this club. And knowing as well, content-wise, like, if we lose, South fans wouldn't let me know about it, that's for sure. So, but selfishly, I'd love to see it, but at the same time, I don't want to see it because I just wouldn't be able to cope with knowing that we lost to them in a grand final. If Roosters play South in a grand final, I'm ever going to be into a game in 20 years of being a fan. I'd never been to a game in 20 years of being a fan, but that would be a must. Yeah, like, it's a bucket list item, Roosters South grand final. South City, sort your shit out. Imagine the East divided, mate. The East is divided right now, but it'd be just as worse, man. Just as worse. The last thing I wanted to cover with around, obviously, the Roosters Navy shorts on the weekend. Obviously, we debuted it for the first time, the all Navy strip. People were asking me about it. What are your thoughts on it? Like, me and Lummy were speaking about it after the game on the weekend, and we said the same thing, that, like, I'm a traditional guy, right? So I love, the home kit with the white shorts and the tricolor socks and that. But, like, it's just gonna give me time to get used to it. I'm not saying it's bad at all. I'm just not used to it. I'm not used to it. Obviously, we've seen it in the NRLW with the Rooster side, and I understand why they did that, right? Like, and I'm going through old games, and I remember when they were wearing white. There's a reason why they're wearing navy, let's just say that. But obviously, is it a way to, have, in sync together with the men's team and the women's team, which is great and all. And obviously, seeing the NRL, I'll be honest with you guys. I just feel the NRLW's shorts, navy shorts, look more sync, looks more realistic with the women's jerseys compared to ours. Obviously, we haven't seen the women's Adidas kits yet, but from what I saw on the weekend, it's got to give me time to get used to it. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. So anyway, but yeah, so it just give me time to get used to it. I honestly, I'm not having that. I haven't really had that same approach with the all white kit because we've seen it in the past. I'm used to the all white kit. I prefer the all white kit than the all navy kit, to be honest with you, just because I'm just used to it more. But I'm sure as time will go on with the navy shorts, there wouldn't be much of an. It's not a problem. It's nothing wrong about it. It's just me, my personal. It's just getting used to it. I'm sure throughout the season we'll get used to it before, but like I'm just more of a traditional guy. I just like how it used to be, and that's just me. But yeah, do hear your thoughts. The grand final could outnumber AFL attendance, I reckon. Well, unless they have it at the MCG, that can't happen because ANZ holds only 83.5. The MCG holds 100,000. So, but yeah, maybe at the old, if they had it at the old Olympic Stadium in 2000, we'd get 110,000 there for sure. Yeah, haven't you noticed we have more Navy now? Bit of surprise there. Right, I think that might do us, lads. I've been on for 40 minutes now. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for everyone for sending in your questions. I really appreciate it. We'll be doing these more regularly. But yeah, thanks for everyone for tuning in and commenting on the chat as well. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know when we're going to be on next. Obviously, we're in a bye week. So, I'm not 100% sure, guys. I don't know when I'm going to be back on. Probably maybe Friday. Definitely not tomorrow, unless anything else pops out or comes across my desk that needs to be talked about. I'll let you guys know on that. But most likely, if not Friday, then probably a weekend wrap up on Sunday night, and then into our game week content again on the Monday with the news roundup. Tuesday, team list predictor video, team list reaction on Tuesday night. Wednesday, potty. Thursday, match preview. Friday, watch along, match reaction, and player ratings. And then, back into the routine from there. So I think we'll just leave that for the time being. Right, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys. Thank you for coming in tonight. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Give us a follow on the Instagram as well. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye for now. Up the Chooks, and we'll see you guys later on. Bye bye.